Hey everyone, this is Michelle with Fanbase Press. I'm on the floor at San Diego Comic-Con 2019. I'm in the ComiXology booth, and I am joined today by Andy Diggle. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very tired, it has to be said. It's Sunday at San Diego.
But very excited that you had a few minutes to speak with us.
Happy to.
So what's really exciting, I'm so glad to be here with you today because Promet A was actually announced at the ComiXology event on Wednesday afternoon, and it was actually released. The first issue is available on ComiXology as well as Kindle, but if you are a Amazon Prime, ComiXology Unlimited, or a Kindle Prime member, then you'll be able to access it for free. What's so exciting about this particular title is that there are so many powerhouse people on this project. So we have Andy as the writer, we have Sean Martinborough as the artist, we have Dave Stewart doing colors, Simon Boland doing letters, and then Jock doing the fantastic cover art. So let's get into what this title is about. For those that were not there at Wednesday or haven't had a chance to pick up the title yet, can you tell us a bit more about the story?
Yeah. Well, Promet A, that's the French for Prometheus. Promet A is a very popular French graphic novel series by Christophe Beck that's up to like 19 volumes now. So you've got thousands of pages of story, all of which has been translated into English and all of which is available on ComiXology now. But because it's such a huge wealth of material and it's such a vast story that covers, it's about an alien conspiracy to control human history that's been going on for thousands of years. And now the aliens have decided that they're going to end their human experiment on Earth and they're going to invade and wipe us out. So that's the kind of the huge big picture stuff that unfolds over the course of the original series. We wanted to do like a little simple lead-in prequel that would just introduce American readers to this huge complex cosmology that Christophe Beck has created. So our story is about a lady called Darla Clemenceau who she has visions of the future. She sees visions of cities on fire and alien invasion, and she thinks it's just hallucinations. She thinks she's mentally ill, but spoiler, it's all true. It's all going to happen, and it's about like how would you deal with the fact that the world is about to end, and there's nothing you can do about it except maybe there's an escape route. So it's about that kind of unfolding in the days before what happens in the Christophe Beck's main series.
Yeah. Now, were you familiar with the series before coming on to work on this title?
I was not. They actually lobbied pretty hard to get me on the book, and initially I wasn't really available, and so I hadn't had time to get my to discover it. And then a few months passed, and they came back to me and they said, "Please, we really want you to do this thing." And I was kind of like, "Okay, well, I'll check it out." So that's when I got all the PDFs of the original series and sort of dove into it. And it's like, wow, there's a lot here. There's a lot of stuff. It's like there's dozens of main characters, and like I say, it kind of jumps around through history and through time, and it was a wealth of material. It took me a little while to figure out what's my way into this story, but no, it was quite an experience, kind of like sort of binge reading the whole. Like I bought myself like a nice big iPad Pro secondhand, just to read those PDFs on, because it was like 2,000 pages of story, But it was an awesome experience.
Now, what do you feel was the most? Did you have any surprises when you were reading the original, and what kind of ideas were they giving you? What kind of ideas were you gathering through your readings?
I guess the main thing for me was because the story unfolds in a very mysterious way in the original. It's very intriguing. It doesn't like lay out all of the answers right up front. So for me, it was all about trying to figure out the big picture, the macro, looking into the story from the outside rather than from the inside as the readers experience it. My job is to kind of come in from the outside, understanding, the motivations of these aliens who we don't really get to meet, at least not for a very long time in the original, and understand, what's their plan, why are they doing what they're doing, and why are they doing it this way, So once I kind of understood the complexities of, the fact that there are different factions of aliens that have actually different agendas, suddenly that that's the moment where for me everything kind of clicked. And as soon as I figured that part of it out, then I go, okay, that's my way in. There's a rebel faction of aliens who want humanity to survive, but there's only a few chosen people who get to live, you know. And that's why Darla has been given these visions. It's kind of a clue that to help her survive, and it's about her finding that path.
And what was it like writing the female character? You know, what kind of themes were you able to explore with Darla?
Well, I've spent most of my career writing sort of, you know, straight, white, tough guys who solve problems through violence, and there's lots of exploding helicopters and car chases and gunfights, and I love all that stuff because it's fun. But at the same time, there was kind of like, you know, I started to feel like I was getting a bit stale. I'd kind of promised myself, okay, I'm not going to write any more straight, white, tough guys for a little while. And then Dynamite offered me James Bond. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do one more because I can't say no to James Bond.
No, you cannot.
But I did want to come up with a character who's the kind of polar opposite of my usual, the kind of heroes I usually write. I wanted somebody who was going to be kind and empathetic and not, you know, not physically imposing, you know, somebody who is just like ordinary, like me, you know, and who is just kind of slightly out of their depth in this very surreal situation they find themselves in. I mean, how would I react in a situation like that? It's not going to be the way James Bond reacts, you know. I would be the guy hiding under the table. So I wanted somebody who is kind of like empathetic and kind and gentle and just trying to deal with it the way we're just trying to deal with our own stuff as we go through life, you know.
Yeah.
Except that her life gets way more dramatic.
So that brings me to wondering, did you do a lot of research on mental illness and dreams and kind of experimenting? Did that kind of give you that opportunity to really explore and experiment with her as a character?
I can't say I did a huge amount of research, because it's the beginning of the story. She has a panic attack, and I've got people in my life who suffer from extreme anxiety, and that felt like something that we don't really see very often. Although one thing I did love was in Iron Man 3, the fact that we get to see like Tony Stark suffering from PTSD and literally having panic attacks, and it kind of I think it's awesome that you know, like pop culture is kind of like it's opening up that conversation a bit more these days. People are open to talking about their own issues and you know and just being honest about that stuff. I think it's healthy to be able to be honest and be able to talk about it, and that's another aspect that I wanted to kind of embrace with this character.
And I'd like to ask you, why do you think being able to read some of these comics, especially the French I think it's Bandes
Bande dessinée.
Yes. Basically, they're French-Belgium type comics. I mean, we've seen the Snowpiercer, Valerian, I'm trying to think, Tintin even are examples. How are these fit within our comic book reading and why this is important?
Well, one of the things I love about the French bande dessinée, they do these beautiful big hardcover books, but in a variety of different genres. You go to a French Comic-Con, like their equivalent of this, like Angoulême or something, and you'll see wall after wall of books which are every imaginable genre. You've got westerns, sci-fi, historical drama, horror, like everything but superheroes. You know, whereas you come here and like it's mostly superheroes. It's mostly dominated by the big two, and I think I love the fact that this kind of the sort of diversity of different styles, something like ComiXology, opens up that world of stuff it doesn't feel quite as familiar to us, and we can just kind of you can discover it all and binge it. You know, like I say, the whole of PROMETHEE is available in English on ComiXology now, but they also do manga and stuff like this. So yeah, I think it's very healthy to just be able to. It's like varying your diet. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And the great thing about ComiXology is that you know, it's a way to discover other publishers and other creators that you otherwise might not have been exposed to. You know, the algorithm will tell you, if you like that, then you might like this. Let me check that out. And you know, it leads you to discover this kind of Aladdin's cave of cool stuff that you might not find in your local comic shop.
Will you have an opportunity to maybe do more work in this title? I know this is a 3-issue series. Are there opportunities to do a bit more with this IP down the road?
It's not something we've discussed. We'll kind of see how this one goes down first, but the reaction's been extremely positive, so it's certainly possible. I mean, myself, I'm very keen to do like some more creator-owned work at ComiXology. You know, they seem to, everybody I've spoken to who's been working with them seems super happy with how they're handling everything, and it just seems like a really good place to tell the stories that I want to tell. You know,
great.
I didn't get into comics because I wanted to write, you know, any particular character. I got into comics because I got my own stories, my own characters that I want to tell, and that just seems like a really good platform for doing that.
Yeah. talking about projects, do you have anything upcoming that you'd like to share with our viewers? Anything that
Nothing
you can
that's
share?
ready to talk. I've got a lot of dream
Okay.
projects that I've got kind of bubbling away in the background, but none of them are ready to announce yet. I'm sort of actually, people are always asking me, how do I get into the comics industry? And I'm kind of like, at the moment, I'm kind of trying to get out of the comics industry. In that I've sort of said no to a bunch of like very tempting offers just recently because I want to basically. I'm going to take like 6 months out. I'm taking between now and Christmas to just do my own stuff, and then I'll be in a position to kind of hit the ground running. Something I've never done that I've always wanted to do is write an entire graphic novel and then rewrite it and have the whole thing, the script, polished before I even approach an artist to discuss drawing it. So that I'm not constantly feeding pages and chasing those deadlines. I just want to be able to buy myself the time to refine my own writing before I then start worrying about deadlines and publishers and all that kind of stuff. So that is something I'm really looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to it too. You're a great writer. I really enjoy your stories. Where can people find you on social media?
The place where I waste time when I'm supposed to be working is Twitter. I'm just Andy Diggle on Twitter, and I love it. I love the immediacy of there's no barrier between fans and creators there, and everybody just kind of hangs out together, you know. So yeah, that's where I spend most of my time.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, Andy. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
Well, this is Michelle with Fanbase Press. If you enjoyed this interview and like to see more, please just hop over to fanbasepress.com.